Hello, this is Dawn. Welcome to this video about the astrology of the new moon in Gemini. I wanted to make this video because I feel that there's some additional information that we probably won't have a lot of time to go over tomorrow when we're setting the Gemini new moon intentions. So we will be doing that live on our channel at noon on the 27th. The noon is at Eastern time. And we also are going to have the recording available because we know that there's not going to be a lot of people maybe available to do a live ceremony. But quantumly, we are all together when we do this. So if you are on the recording, you are actually part of what's happening in the moment, because that's how quantum works. So what I wanted to do was start by bringing in this energy of what the chart looks like for this new moon in Gemini. So let me go ahead. Oops. Back that out a second. There we are. And there, perfect. And now you can see it on the screen. To start with, this new moon in Gemini is at 6 degrees. Now, it's very important to note what is at 6 degrees in your chart, or very near it. I would say within a 3-degree orb. So from like 9 degrees, but I'm going to put it all the way down to 0 degrees of anything that may be in the mutable signs, and Gemini is mutable. The other mutable signs are Sagittarius and Pisces and Virgo. And so if you have personal planets, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, those would have a very strong effect with what's going on in this new moon. And everybody is going to have 6 degrees of Gemini in their chart. So find out what house that's in for you. But then also look at your personal positions of your planets regarding what that may be able to utilize for your intention setting. So if it's something regarding the 9th house, is it something you want to initiate with travel or learning about travel, or higher spiritual calling or religion? Any of those areas of the 9th house topics of the chart, even legal matters, are also considered the 9th house. So let's take a look here at the 6 degrees of Gemini. The 6 degrees of Gemini is also going to be in a sextile energy with Saturn and Neptune and Ceres in the chart. And this is very beneficial, you getting an offer or help that you can take advantage of. It's an opportunity. Now, with sextiles, you have to take initiative in order to get the benefit of that opportunity. If you don't take advantage of the benefit, it doesn't hurt you, but you may have missed out on something that could have propelled you forward in a very accelerated way. Also, what is in this first area of the chart here is we have Mercury, who is the ruler of this particular new moon. The interesting thing about Mercury is Mercury would have just been in a conjunction with Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury. So to me, Mercury was getting the higher downloads of the galactic information that is out there. And that is also the area of the chart where the Pleiades are located at. So that's very interesting that Mercury went over that area of the chart. Mercury then entered into Gemini and was conjunct Sedna and Hygeia. Sedna is the Nordic goddess who was very mistreated by all of her male family members and husband and father, brothers. But she was able to transform. A brief version of the story would be when she was returning home from a very abusive marriage, a storm came up and her father were in a boat. In order to save himself, the father threw her overboard, and Sedna gripped the edges of the boat so she could try and save herself, and he chopped off her fingers. She then floated down into the ocean, and her fingers then became the sea creatures of the ocean. So it is very interesting that she was able to transmute this energy and change what was this horrible ending for her into a completely new beginning. So Sedna is a very, very slow moving asteroid. She will probably not move, definitely not move out of Gemini in our lifetimes. That's how slow she is. So when we look at this energy of Mercury having gone through this area of the chart, it's very much attached to this asteroid goddess energy. And the other interesting part of this is when you look at the other planets in the chart, we have Jupiter, which is in Gemini at 26 degrees, is also in a sextile, an opportunity with, and this is, I find fascinating, Chiron is conjunct Eris at 25 degrees, 28 minutes. 25 degrees, 28 minutes for both of them. So usually when something is at the same degree, I find it very important, exclamation point. When I find it's exact to the minute, it is fireworks. So this is an opportunity for healing. Eris was the goddess. I like to refer to her as the fire starter. She was the goddess that threw the golden apple at the wedding. And she threw it amongst some goddesses and said, "For the fairest." And this ended up starting the Trojan War. So this energy of Eris and Chiron and being in a sextile to Jupiter, I think that there's an opportunity for healing. And I think it's going to be healing of self. That's very much the Aries energy. And with this energy in Jupiter, the communication piece of it, how we think, how we can change our point of view on something to redefine it, I would say. So what else is going on? We have Pluto. Pluto is in a trine to Mercury and this new moon. So don't forget, Mercury is the ruler of this new moon. So this is actually a pretty tight trine located here in the chart. And Pluto and Hygeia and Sedna, especially Sedna and Pluto, will be going in and out of exact trines for the next couple years. They will be, because of the retrogrades, they'll actually be having some very exact trines, which are going to be very, very powerful. We also have this energy of Uranus going to be going into Gemini and will be conjuncting Sedna in the future, which to me is another healing opportunity for the divine feminine, and actually not a healing opportunity because I feel that Sedna has healed from that, but it's that transformative energy that is going to be brought forth for the divine feminine. And the reason I feel that in this particular chart is because we have such strong representations of the asteroid goddesses in very, very tight degrees to what is going on during this new moon energy. So one of the things that really struck me is that Hygeia and Sedna are both at 1 degree. Neptune is at 1 degree, and Hecate is at 1 degree. These are forming a yod, a very, very tight yod. They're all at 1 degree. So Hecate is about the goddess of the crossroads. What are you going to step forward into? You are being asked to step forward. Hygeia asks us to take care of ourselves, self-care. Sedna, no more victim mentality. Moved out of that. We are now transforming our energy into amazing positive ways. And we're getting the help of Saturn and Neptune in order to do that. So this is a sextile, and both of these sextiles form the Yod to Hecate. The other interesting thing is that at 6 degrees, there is Vesta and Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Where has your shame been? What have you been held back because of the fear of what other people would say, the shame that was brought up when you were trying to do something, and education-wise even, where it was, well, are you getting too big for your own britches? Or who do you think you are? You know, that very belittling energy that is oftentimes used to put women in their place, as they say. So what has this communication of the moon and the sun in this new moon to Vesta, our sacred hearth, what are we going to step away from feeling shame about? We need to own our own gifts and have authority. We do have Ceres creating a Yod to Black Moon Lilith and Vesta, because Ceres, that motherly energy, the mother nature energy, is in a sextile to this new moon energy. We also have Iris as part of that new moon energy. Iris is a messenger. She is the rainbow goddess, and she was very, very involved in the Venus retrograde. Divine feminine showing up again. So what's going to be happening in 2 days on the 29th after this new moon is that Iris and Mercury and the sun will all be at 9 degrees of Gemini. That would be a Mercury cazimi. And Iris is there with messages. We are getting in messages. So what other things do we have going on in this chart? We have Mars in Leo in a square. Actually, it's like a half a square to the energy of Uranus. But what you don't see on here is there is a what they call a quincunx, which is 72 degrees from this 6-degree new moon to Mars. That is the most harmonic combination that you can have in a chart. It is saying, what do you love? What is your bliss? You need to go do that. Being out front, Leo. Doing it, Mars. And you have Mars, of course, in this rulership over Aries, where you've just had 48 hours ago, Saturn enter into this area of the chart. So there is a lot happening with being able to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. And we need to step out into that energy, because things are going to be happening so quickly that not being mutable and adapting to change. A lot of this is adapting to change. There is no more sitting on the sidelines or you will be left behind. You don't have to take giant steps. You can take baby steps, but you do have to take steps. This is wanting us to move, to do something. And ideally, it would be claiming your truth. So when I'm looking at this in people's charts, what I generally would look at is the fact that what is speaking to this area of the chart. So what I'm going to do is bring forward another file. Here we go. Here. I've set this up as a comparison chart. So I wanted to show you in a more easily viewable easy viewable photo, because this is actually taken from some charts. So this is my chart. I have in Gemini a 6-degree Mars. So this new moon energy is going to be conjunct Mars, my Mars exactly. This is a very potent, let's get things started, let's get things done energy. But what else would I look for in this chart? I would say, what else do I have at 6 degrees? I happen to have the moon at 6 degrees in Aquarius, right near Pluto. That's a very positive trine energy here. Saturn there is at 9 degrees. And in 2 days, there will be the Mercury Cazimi that will be in a trine to that Saturn. So over the past 18 months, my chart has been very, very activated by all of this energy going on. But what I want to show you is that you can use that energy. You are not a victim of the astrology. You are there to utilize it to your highest good. I decided to go to an astrology conference, and I looked at my chart after I had signed up, and then I saw that it was actually a very positive karmic thing for me to go to this conference. But I looked at it in the sense that once I saw that, I knew it was absolutely the right decision, but I made the decision before I looked at my chart, and the chart just confirmed for me that this was something I was meant to do. So what else would I look at in this chart? I would say I do have a Venus that's in a square, also at 6 degrees, 6 and 8 degrees. So you do have this energy of squares are actions that need to be taken. So I am being proactive with what I'm going to be doing, especially regarding communication, and hopefully that will include you too. But this opportunity to really show who I am. Gemini is my first house. It's about communication for me. It's about communicating and doing the things that I love to do and sharing that with people, whether it's tarot or whether it's astrology. So when you look at your own chart, really pull in what is going to be affecting your personal planets. Again, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, right? And Mercury is being very, very strong here. She is in her own sign. Gemini is about curiosity and communication and creativity. And you have that extra special little bump from that quincunx to Mars, which is do it already. This is an opportunity for you. You need to do this. Do what gives you bliss. Take those steps. So this is just what I wanted to say to everyone out there regarding what you can do with your astrology. I do astrology readings. You'll be able to book with me if you want to look down below. But the real purpose of this was to get you some information ahead of time for the new moon that's going to be happening this evening. But we're going to set the intentions tomorrow at noon Eastern. It will be recorded. You can join us quantumly at your leisure. But I wanted to really share this with you because I felt it was so important, because we are walking in to the most beautiful time of feminine expression. And we are very, very strong, bringing out what our gifts, what our strengths are, and our ability to work with each other and make a huge change in what's going on in the world. People that have Pluto in Virgo are natural healers. It's part of their DNA. the people born during the time of, it would have been the late, I believe it was 56 or 57, all the way up to 1971. Those are Pluto and Virgo people. And all of them have included in their DNA that gift of healing. So please join us tomorrow. And I'm glad that I got to spend this time with you today to just give you a little bit more information. So I will see you soon. Bye.